Hello, this is Greg Allison with Green Gregs coming to you on the 8th of September 2020 with breaking news of shots fired. India and China have accused each other of firing shots at their contentious line of control Himalayan border and further escalation of the military tensions between these two nuclear-armed Asian rivals. This is a very serious situation. To top that off, the Chinese soldiers have actually showed up with machetes attached to spears. And the People's Liberation Army, the PLA, claimed that these troops showed up for peaceful dialogue. The situation is at a knife's edge. Why matter? I always have to go into this because, most of my watchers are in the United States and, Australia, England, and other English-speaking countries, but it also includes India as an English-speaking country. And people are going, what does this matter to me? That's over there. That has nothing to do with me. Actually, it has a lot to do with you in that if these two nations get to full-blown conflict, and if it should escalate to being nuclear, then we are at risk of a nuclear winter. That's first and foremost. And second most, maybe even first most, is we could get drawn into this for various and sundry different reasons. And one of them being that the United States and India and China, the United States and India and Australia and Japan are looking at forming a NATO type alliance right now. So even without that, we have economic ties in both countries. I would hope that we would, for various reasons, I will go into in a future video, that we will take further steps to sever those with China. But we are intimately tied with both countries economically, and there are just a lot of other tensions and things that cause us to escalate. Not to mention, if China gets in war with one place, they might just use that as an excuse and pretense to go ahead and go full-scale adventurous on the military side. Speculation, indeed. I grant you that. But these are things that we have to be worried about. We have to be concerned about. What I bring you here is eyes wide open and head on a swivel news, because there's so much coming at us. We have to keep our eyes wide open. We have to know what might happen, what might occur, and that's why we need to prepare. Because the proposition of my channel is help you survive, thrive, and stay out of the hive. Survive, thrive, and stay out of the hive. Those are different things, and thriving is a big part of it. It also stay out of the hive. China would like to institute a ginormous global hive. That's subject for a future video, but these things very much matter to us. And this border conflict is really ratcheting it up, and I'm about to go into that. This is why we need to consider other things, such as how we prepare. You've got to prepare yourself. So I'd say right now, go to preparewithgreg.com. Preparewithgreg.com has an excellent deal right now. You get all these wonderful meals. You can get a 4-week supply for one person of food. 4 weeks for $100 off right now. Just $197 to feed you for a whole month. And it's great food. This is 25-year lasting food. It's easy to carry in these buckets. Breakfast, lunch, dinner, great foods. And guess what? Here we go. Look at all this stuff. You've got desserts and drinks. Wide choices, good foods. It's not just one or two things. It's not just bland stuff. So, and it's easy to carry. It's easy to use in bug out, providing you're in a vehicle. I don't know about backpacks, but for that, you might think more seats and just a few things. Bugging out in a vehicle, if you have a bug out location, or if you plan to bug out by backpack, set up some caches. But this is a great deal. It's a good investment in the future. I'd say buy many while you can, while the price lasts, because I'm telling you, food prices are going to be going up. I'll do another video on that in a little bit. So, as you well know, these tensions have already been in progress. The two countries have been escalating this since they had their hand-to-hand combat in June in the Ladakh region. This occurred on the 15th of June, in which 20 Indian troops and some unspecified, unknown number of Chinese troops met their maker. Got to be careful what I say, but it's been the case that the border protocols in place between these two countries were against carrying guns. And this apparently has broken down since the June clash. Both militaries now appear to maybe have changed their position and having some of their troops carrying guns. And in fact, here's what it said. The defense minister of China accused India of severe military provocation, saying soldiers crossed the line of actual control in the western border region on Monday and opened fire to threaten the Chinese Border Defense Patrol officers. According to the People's Liberation Army, the PLA, Chinese troops approached the Indian side for negotiations, and some Indian troops fired at the Chinese side. The CCP foreign minister said that Indian troops had illegally crossed the LAC and had been the first to fire the shots. The PLA said it had to take countermeasures. We don't know what these countermeasures were or will be, but that was their claim, taking countermeasures. Now see, this is the language of escalation. This is what I'm talking about. Well, India had none of that. India rebutted this claim, claiming that the PLA forces blatantly violated previous agreements, firing a few rounds in the air to intimidate Indian forces. The Indian Army said this very morning, it is the PLA that have been blatantly violating these agreements, carrying out aggressive maneuvers. Despite the grave provocations, our own troops, according to the Indians, exercised great restraint and behaved in a responsible manner. New Delhi further asserted that the PLA was trying to close in on one of India's positions. That's when the PLA forces were dissuaded by Indian troops, and then the PLA fired these shots in the air. Nobody apparently was hit by any of these shots. The key thing is, each are accusing the other. He said, these guys did it, these guys did it, these guys did it, these guys did it, these guys infracted on the border, these guys infracted on the border. Hey, we do have the picture of the PLA guys with the spears or the machetes. So we know they're getting beyond on that one, although the machetes are for peaceful negotiation on the end of a spear. Yeah, okay. These incidents occurred Monday along the southern shore of Pangangsao Lake, and both sides have sent tens of thousands of troops in this area to this disputed Himalayan border. And you know, this is a border that's like 13,500 feet in the air, or 4,000 meters for those of you in Australia and Britain and India. Diplomats and military commanders have held numerous talks since July to reduce these tensions, but they seem to just be further escalating. The more they talk, the higher the tensions are going. You know, the whole negotiation, and it could be the pretense of goodwill, whilst they're working under the cover to do ill. That would be very much in character with the military philosophy of Sun Tzu, which is, you know, the Chinese military philosophy. And I put more faith personally on the Indian side in this incident, just because of the general aggressiveness that's been exerted by China all over the world of late, or at least in their region, I should say. And then, but let's add to that. Earlier this week, New Delhi has alerted the Chinese to their allegations that 5 of their men had been abducted by the PLA close to this disputed border. So there's abductions of people, there's shots fired, there's spears with the machetes on them. I mean, you can kill people with those easily. These are weapons of war. And when in an area where they were just going to not have any weapons and any conflicts would be resolved by fist, although they weren't even supposed to be that. But we know even these fist conflicts, which maybe had some iron bars involved, or maybe some spears with machetes, have caused a few to go to the great beyond. So that's pretty powerful for hand-to-hand combat. So it's ratcheting it up. I like to bear in mind to you guys that, you know, I need to do a video. I've talked about it sometime about the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. I just want to take 2 verses from Revelations chapter 6. So we'll take verse 4. And verse 4 reads, "And there went out another horse that was red, and the power was given unto him that sat upon to take peace from earth, that they should kill one another, and there was given to him a great sword." But number 8 is the most interesting one here. And we've had a lot of warfare going on of late, and you know, we have wars and rumors of wars and rumors of rumors, I believe. Also earthquakes in various diverse places. one of the things that Jesus spoke about as a warning sign. I mean, England, we're talking also on our Gulf Coast, earthquakes between the border of Florida and Alabama. But verse 8 says, and I looked, and behold, a pale horse, and his name that sat upon him was Death, and hell followed with him, and power was given unto him over a fourth part of the earth to kill with sword, and with hunger, and with death, and with the beast of the earth. A quarter of the world's people was given to the rider of the pale horse. So these are dramatic, rather dramatic. Here's what you need to know. Inside of this circle lives over half the people on this earth. If this is just a little over 2,000 miles in radius, something like 4,000 miles in diameter, yet more people live inside this circle than outside of it. Therefore, if half the people inside of this circle were wiped out, that would fulfill the prophecy of the pale horse. That could happen if there were a nuclear war between India and China or Pakistan. In fact, they all might get involved. You could rapidly see the idea of escalation. If India is being attacked, it might be the opportunity for Pakistan. So to chime in with China. I could see Pakistan and China being in an alliance. But I could easily see a lot of destruction in this area. There's so many people here, it would be beyond catastrophic. And it would affect us. But if you just look at this, this makes it easy to envision how those biblical prophecies could be fulfilled. Half the people, over half the people, live inside of this circle. This is where most of the world's people are. Wow, imagine that. That is why we've got to pay attention. We can write it off if you're a believer in the Bible, then, or at least in, look, the book of Revelation, whether you believe the rest of the Bible or not, look at the book of Revelations. It's very interesting. The top prophecies that were foreseen were uncanny for a man 2,000 years ago to have written down on paper of any type. The description of the beast of that book read like helicopters, jet planes, and tanks. How else would a man who never saw anything other than a chariot describe such mobile vehicles that were moving around and spitting fire and missiles and machine guns? They couldn't think of it as anything other than beast, horrendous beast. So that's the only way in their vernacular they would have to see it, because their worldview was anything that moved was alive at that time. That's how they saw it. That would have been a shocking thing if you took somebody from 2,000 years ago and stuck them in our world today. It would be beyond their mind. Their heads would explode from everything they saw. They couldn't describe it. They would describe it as best they could. But the descriptions in that book are interesting. And furthermore, one of the most interesting things is the depiction of 200 million troops moving from the east across the Tigris and Euphrates rivers, heading west. There was only 50 million people on Earth when that was written. Now, I've had some people tell me, oh, Greg, that's a prophecy of all the stuff that's been going on. And I was told, according to one person, this is the whole history of all the Islamic expansion and conquering. And it's described as an event, not a history of an ongoing thing. It said when the rivers dried. Well, of course, those rivers do dry from time to time. It's happened. But this is a specific incident. Of course, the rivers could be virtually dried by putting, the engineering bridges across them that's within the capacity today. So, I tell you this because there's so much tension in that area right now, and it's escalating. All these countries, and China's the center of it. China is pushing hard on all the other countries around it because they're the big boys. They're the 900-pound gorilla in the room, and they figure to own Asia, probably Earth, but starting with Asia. They figure to own that area, and that's what they're determined to do. Their biggest regional rival is India. And India used to be a pacifist country, but they've decided that they want to be run over They didn't want to be sucked into that wonderful, beautiful Chinese socialist communist system that so many young people in this country think are great and wonderful. Nobody else around there seems to want any part of that either, except for the Chinese Communist Party. Oh, and of course, American students and young people who have been indoctrinated to think that it is far better than their neighbors around them who are close to it seem to think. There might be something to that. You might want to pay attention to that. We shall talk more about that in the future, but just pay attention. You know, your worldview, the tinting glasses might be a little bit off on that, my friends, who seem to subscribe to that philosophy. I know a lot of you will argue on me on that, but all right, the bottom line, whether you buy that or not, the bottom line here is that tensions are building up. They're building up fast. Hopefully, they can calm it down. Hopefully, we'll never see this go much beyond this. But the trend line doesn't support that. The trend line is more and more tension. The trend line is that way. So we've got to pay attention. You've got to get ready. You've got to prep. And with all the climate things coming at you, I would submit to you, you had better consider prepping in terms of growing food may be the most important thing. If you check the link below this video, you will find my link to True Leaf Market. If you use that link, it will help my channel as well going to preparedness.com. Here you can buy seeds. You can buy seeds for gardening, all kind of garden plants. And there's still things you can plant right now, greens and such, turnip greens, collards. There's still things you can plant right now, turnips. And you can grow in your house. As our climate gets more and more wonky, you'll be more and more encouraged to grow in a controlled environment. Greenhouse in your home. Microgreens are perfect for that. Sprouts are good for that too. But I really highly encourage microgreens. And you get all your supplies for all that stuff right here at True Leaf Market. Great deals, and they even tell you how to plant and raise those plants. You can't beat that. And if that's not enough, I got tons of videos on raising microgreens below in my channel. I'll really show you how to do it. And I'll do more videos on that in the future. But I have kind of switched this summer. I've been doing a lot of videos on wild edibles, because wild edibles are also very important. You need to know how to survive in the wild. You need to also stock up on, hey, go to Walmart, Costco, or where the big box stores are and get bulk supplies as much as you can while you can. But just remember, they are bulk supplies and are hard to carry. So these deals that you find with my page of supply through prepwithgreg.com are excellent. You can't beat that $100 off. You just can't beat that. That is such an awesome deal. All that said, get centered, get prepped, do everything you can. Keep prepping right now while we're in the eye of the storm before the other eye wall gets to us, because the next side, I think, may be a far rougher ride than what we've already gone through. We're coming into the grand solar minimum. Worldwide tensions are ratcheting. That's just going to make them worse. We're having tensions domestically. You know, they seem to be kind of abating a little bit, but when people start getting evicted from their homes, when the unemployment checks run out, it's going to take a different twist, a different turn. There will be unrest, but it'll be a different character from the unrest we've seen and just be added on top of it. Now, that might get hotter too. So, you know, I don't know, guys. I really hope that, you know, first and foremost, be right with your maker. Be right with the greater creator. And that way you know that no matter what, you know, spiritually you're taken care of. Make sure your family is there, and do everything you can to protect yourself and your family. That's the most important thing that you can do, aside from getting right with your maker. And be centered. Don't panic. Do the best you can, but panicking is never going to help you. It's going to make you illogical. Even when directly confronted by somebody, don't panic. Think. What to do, how to do it, how to react. You know, sometimes the most disarming thing is a laugh. Sometimes a laugh is the best weapon you can have in your pocket. Better than a switchblade. Seriously, I kept a guy from jumping me that way once. Because he called me so many things at once like I'd never heard couldn't help but bust out laughing. I thought it was funny. The guy was just about to jump me. He looked at me and shocked, and then realized nature. He started laughing. Then we sat down and had a beer together. He hit my funny bone right when he was about to try to cut a bone. It happened. I swear it was weird. It was funny. I just couldn't help but laughing. The way he said it, I had never heard anything like that. And it just hit me hard and funny. And that saved my life, maybe. At least saved him getting a few stitches. Oh, well. Maybe that was a powerful lesson in life. I've had many. And just don't forget those. Don't forget your friends. And I've said enough. So everybody, bear in mind, the tensions over there are real. They're getting bigger and bigger. So please do this. Watch out for yourselves, your family. Get ready every way you can. And I hope everyone has a wonderful week. I've got more to come. This was a sudden video I had no plan of doing today earlier. It's just breaking news. And so I do, that's part of my thing. I try to bring you breaking news when I can. So all I want to say now is thank you. Oh, yeah. Be sure to subscribe. Bang the notification bell. And check back my channel from time to time because the algorithms aren't always so friendly on notifications. And again, thank you